Okay, Ta-coumba, thank you so much for taking the time for this interview.
You're welcome.
Not far from your Made Here installation.
Right behind me on the other side of this building.
Right, we're right at the corner of Hennepin and 10th in the Parklets, one of my favorite downtown places now.
Yes, yes.
Can you explain what was the inspiration for your Made Here project and sort of how it came together?
Well, you know, I've done several Made Here projects, but this one is like sort of, I keep on saying it's my culminating one, but this one is actually a love letter to my fiance, wife kind of thing. And so it's called Wo Ani, you know, meaning I love you. And so in the first of many panels in the windows on the other side, it's a color piece, and there's outline drawings of her mixed in with my style, which is called spirit writing and rhythm pattern. And so she's there, and then the energy and my sort of life thrust of everything I do follows that. So it's an act of breathing. You know, I consider love an act of breathing, you know, because what else is there? When the minute, you know, you're born, it was already an act of love, the love of your parents, the love, you know, so trying to keep that as a memory, remember that, and work towards that, love people, love community. So this is a way of putting it there, even though it's high to see. I think it's almost made for the person that's wandering or looking for direction or has nowhere to go, and they look up and all of a sudden they see these crazy lines, and all of a sudden faces come out of it, memories of theirs come out of it, not even of mine. You know, that's kind of the effect that my work has.
That's so beautiful. You know, what do you think about this Made Here project overall?
I laugh because I worked on Planet Hennepin, which was, this is one of the suggestions that was made by people who worked in the community, artists that are in the community, homeless people in the community, all came together in 4 or 5 different venues down Hennepin, from the library to the Walker, meeting and working on ideas of what could be done with Hennepin, you know, and serious ideas, not just decoration, but gathering places that maybe other issues can be dealt with. You know, maybe it doesn't look so dangerous. Maybe it looks more welcoming. You know, of course, there's the side that, you know, you want to have people that come to the theater and come down here to relax, to feel safe. But I also want the people that are homeless to feel safe. You know, there's 2 sides to the coin. You know, and so I think that Made Here gave it a possibility that maybe other things can happen.
Okay.
Block E with the windows, with the art, that you could wait at the bus and get to see something that was almost the same quality as you would see at the Walker or at the MIA, you know, and it was for anybody, which those places are for, but people don't feel so welcoming sometimes. But if you're catching the bus and you got your kids, you got to go home and make something, you know, to feed them, it's right there. Or if you just finished a big business deal and you're going to one of the bar or restaurant, it's right there.
Right.
It's cool.
It is. And you've been so involved with everything. What would you like to see, sort of, if you kind of had this, like, I don't know, what was sort of your dream vision for this area that, you know, Made Here can
My dream vision is for the world. But
bigger than just
I'll you know, because it's about actually letting artists do the job that they were here for in the first place, which is be representatives for the community, be the visual voice, the audio voice, the performing thing, having someone that will say, you know, do things that let people know who the person next to you might be thinking, because when they see it and you're seeing it and then you agree or disagree, but there's something to discuss, you know, and getting the businesses and the communities to say, you know, this is really a dull kind of place. What can we do? Maybe we should talk to those performing artists and have them perform all the way from St. Paul to Minneapolis on the light rail, and then end the show at the park lot. You know, it's all kinds of possibilities, but you have to ask, you know, and you have to ask with some money behind it.
Right.
Because everybody else gets paid, you know, and all of a sudden it's like you get to the artist and go, oh, I think I have a, you know, So it should be getting bigger instead of smaller. And other things will get bigger because of it. More people will come, you know, more artists have work, more housing might be done, streets might be cleaner, because there's activity that makes it so that it's a viable thing, something that you really want to do, and you want to make it a better world. And that's like, you know, that can be la 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 la. Why not try that? Why always look at the negative and just keep pointing that out? Why don't we find out one positive and blow it up? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not really a different mindset, because there was a time when there was no such thing as artists. It was just a person in the community that was their duty or job to let people know when it was too dark out to go walking, because it's going to be, you know, you fall off the cliffs, or markings in the ground let you know how to get back to that village, or music and sounds to let you know that somebody's child was just born. It was all mixed in all together, where we have separated it so much from a hierarchy down that when you want to do it, you think you have to be part of the hierarchy.
Right.
But that's not true. You know, it belongs to everybody.
What would you say, what advice do you have for young people who might be interested in getting into art and doing art that is connected to the community?
You're already in the community, so do the art.
Yeah.
Show it to people, and they'll run you away saying, boy, I don't, you know, I mean, that's what they do with me. They show them some art and they say, boy, get away, I know who you are, you know. But then they go, wait, that's kind of nice. Can you do one of those for my wife? But, you know, I just had an argument the other day, and maybe she'll like that for her birthday. You know, you do it, and all of a sudden that picture ends up at the church, and then the church says, can you do another picture and a painting? And I mean, I've seen so many challenges. Kids that are walking down, singing rap and all that. I'm like, why don't you do your own music? You know, but if they had a place to do it, it would even be better, you know. Or, you know, they might do graffiti, and I'm like, you know, there's this place called Intermediate Arts, and they do it, but maybe we can find some other places where you could do it. You know, that's pretty good. That could be, you could be an illustrator. And they're like, what's an illustrator? Oh my God, you know those CD covers that you've been, you know, the CDs and the covers that are on them? They're either done by a photographer and you know, a painter or something. So when, you know, if we can encourage all people to find what their art is, to celebrate that, to be that chip off the old block of somebody else that's done it, and keep continuing and continuing. Not everybody has to be super big time and all of that, because I don't even know what that is. You know, I mean, if I was striving to be just in the Walker, just in some place, or work owned by somebody, I would have been lost a long time ago. I did murals. Somebody said, why are you doing murals? You could be selling painting. Because millions of people that can't afford that painting get it for free. And those are the people that supported me up to this point. Yes, I would love to make money. I'd love if somebody pay $1 million for one piece. I can guarantee you 3/4 of that would end up back in the community some kind of way.
Right.
Because I don't need all of that to survive. I need for the community to survive so I can survive.
Are there any other exciting projects coming up that you're working on that you'd like to let people know about? I'm sure.
I'm working on a seed project. It's the John Bigger Seed Project, and it's 13 artists. You know, 10 emerging artists. That's right. We've trashed all the titles, but there's all of these talented artists, African American artists, that are working on a fencing that's going to go across 94 off of Olson Highway to the ballpark.
Okay.
On both sides. We're learning how to do metal enameling now. Not little jewelry metal enameling, but 9 feet by 200 feet of metal enameling. Panels that we'll do that can take 30 inches by 30 inches, or 3 feet by 3 feet. You know, we're doing it at the Chicago Fire Arts and with Obsidian Arts, and we're doing it with the city of Minneapolis, and we're doing it with U-Rock. All of these people have come together to make this work. It's very hard to do because the system that we're in makes it very hard, but we're doing it, and we're constantly.
When is that going to be up and people to see?
I hope in the spring. You know, Setu Jones and myself are lead artists. We have 2 master artists, Bing Davis and John Lockhart. We're trying to get. There was timelines. But then there's things like the kiln wasn't ready to, you know, be built, or there's something that we had to do, or each one of the components had little setbacks, which I call Well, for instance, when sand gets into the shell and and aggravates, that's how you get a pearl. You don't get it without aggravation. When pressure gets pressure, that's how you get a diamond. So we're right on task. We're, doing it and making it so that other people might be able to do it easier.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is documented. There's curriculum that's been developed by many people out of UROC with all of these different elements that need to be looked at just to be simplified. But first you got to get in there and get your hands dirty and get the bumps and bruises, and then it gets fine-tuned and it's something that other people might be able to emulate.
Right. Well, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you so much, and all the great work you do in the community.
I'm just one of the many.
Well, I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.